back. Well, we're now we're live here as well. But I was like, wait, ding dong, Neil's at the door. Hold on. It's so funny. It's so funny to hear that. So Courtney's working today. So hi,
Oh, she
Mary.
okay.
Yeah, Courtney. She was all mad because she has to miss the live for work. I'm like, yeah, I know, right?
The way
Um,
it's been, she might be able to hop on for a few minutes. Like it's been pretty chill during the morning, and then like 2, 3 o'clock, it just goes bananas.
Seriously? Okay.
It's been some rough afternoons.
Uh, yeah, last night was it super busy in the beginning.
I saw that.
Um, I was like, what the hell? I thought, is this going to continue the whole night? Did I pee in somebody's Karmic Cheerios here? Because, but it wasn't bad. I only admitted one, and
Well, that's not bad. You know,
no,
that's a lot of URI stuff. It looked like.
ton of belly pain, all the belly pain, and nobody had anything. Literally, like no one had anything. I was like, all right, I feel pretty ineffective at this point, but so anyway, no, this is not medical advice. I just told Nikki my compounded prescription arrived this morning while I was sleeping, and it was supposed to arrive. It's from 3.5 hours away. The pharmacy is 3.5 hours away. That's hilarious, Neil. I'm dying. Um, Neil, you have to go to watchams.com or amspublicgroup.com because that's where this goes. And we had somebody who came in last week that said Neil looks more like a hot biker than a doctor. So now NP Neil is the hot biker. I'm just I'm just the overtired human. All right. Live chat. There we go. We'll see who shows up today. So anyway, so I got my meds this morning. So tell me your thoughts on this, Neil. They've been sitting on a FedEx truck all weekend,
Yeah.
sealed in a vial. The temperature's not terrible outside.
Hmm.
Do you think it's fine?
I think it's fine.
I hope so because I injected. But I'm asking for forgiveness, not permission. I mean, I know they cannot. They cannot. I'm looking for words. Holy crap! I'm not having a stroke. I promise. I am literally 3 sips into coffee and that's it. I know they're not responsible for FedEx, and we've done
Yeah.
this. We've done this forever. When Axtel was one of the pharmacies we use as well. Their refrigeration was not enough for the Texas heat. Their stuff would arrive at like 110 degrees. Sits on the FedEx truck, but Axel now doesn't even. Oh, thanks for the love. Yes, love the likes. Thank you. Oh, hold on. Let's get Neil on here so we can do the things. Am I supposed to do anything? Yes, I am. I got to mute.
Yeah, we
Hold
got to
on.
adjust something.
Yeah, there we go. I got 5 Neils. I got infinite Neils right there. What the hell was I saying?
Hot truck. Hot FedEx
Not a
truck.
hot truck, hot soup. So Axel doesn't ship at the end of the week anymore because FedEx is unreliable. So is UPS. I mean, it's not like I'm being like discriminatory here. It's just unfortunate that even though it says refrigerated.
What's crazy is like some of the shipping costs are like, because it's like overnight or 2 day, whatever, and it's like $40, and then they still can't get it there in 2 days.
I mean, I could have walked it there in the amount of time it took. So that was very frustrating.
So you were saying it stung a little bit. Was it cold?
God.
Did you have it in the fridge?
No, it wasn't cold. It was exactly room temperature because it had been sitting on my porch until I got it right before. But yeah, it is a new pharmacy that we're using, and that the delay is not their fault. They got it out like right away. It was like 3 seconds, and then I'm like, and then it sat on the FedEx truck. Yes, it stung so bad. Like I was like halfway through, I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Okay, I need to do this just to get.
I'm wondering if it's the L-carnitine because I think that's what they mix theirs with.
Correct? Mix
Correct?
it with L-carnitine. So if anybody out there, if you've used compounded with L-carnitine, let me know if that burns because I need to tell patients this. Because I mean,
or if you've used L-carnitine injectable.
Or oh my god, yeah. If you've done L-carnitine, like actually IM, we do prescribe that too, but I might not. Hell no.
I've never had anybody complain about their L-carnitine that I prescribed it to that it burns. Yeah. I mean, and everybody who's tried it has refilled it.
I'm like, did I hit something? I'm like there's nothing down there. Yeah. I mean, like I might have hit something, like a little
vessel,
like a little vessel, or maybe a little. Because even when I push now, I mean, it is tender. I'm like, what the hell?
We'll find out if you get a big little bruise later. That'll be it.
Yeah.
You hit a little vessel.
Yeah. Cause boy, that hurt. That was like, oof. Like it was seriously, I was like, all right, it's like, okay, guys, I just woke up. This is too painful. I literally just freaking woke up. I'm like, stop. No,
So it
but
was
I
a
got
Monday after. You're not a Monday morning kind of gal anymore.
I
Then you got
well,
to do it Monday afternoon.
it's my Monday morning because I just woke up. I know. I was like, so this morning I only have fives and I wanted to do 7.5 and I didn't want to mix with the five because I wanted to see how this pharmacy actually feels because that's why I order from the pharmacies and you know. So I was like, I'll wait. I'll wait till I get up at noon. Wait till I get up. So anyhow, um, what was I gonna say? Oh, I don't know. Oh yeah,
You were
so I
talking
got
about
up.
five. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd like to make sure, like, listen, what does 7.5 feel like when it's from this other pharmacy? Because I need to go up. I do have a race next week. So next week I'm probably going to go back down to five, regardless of what the food noise is, just to make sure I can kind of pig out during the, not really, but I need to use this week to get my food quality under control. Oh, by the way, it's Easter on Sunday. So I'm arming myself with 7.5.
And I saw you closed us on Easter Sunday as well.
Oh, I did.
I
AMS.
think
Well,
so.
I
Yeah.
tried. And then some of the support staff are like, we really want to work. I'm like, okay. So, but we're not. I'll be working. I'll be working.
Someone will.
I know.
Mary Mauma? I think I'm saying that right. Thoughts on doing 2.5 plus 5 milligrams if 7.5 is back ordered? Well, that's what Dr. Mo was just about to do. Instead, she tried the new pharmacy. So we've had patients do that before when their stuff was back ordered. I don't see a problem with that at all.
No, no. If you
Oh, it's
do,
Maribel.
it's like, oh, hi, Maribel. Yes, it's Maribel. I always forget. Yes, and I got to get Maribel states on our thing too. Or we just do this. We get Maribel to get a website up there soon. So I just say, click this for Maribel and see what state she's in. And then we go there. That's a better idea. And I got to get Nikki's website too, because that's changing because the platform that I met them both on is it's pushing us all in a different direction.
Huh.
So yeah, they haven't they I whatever. I'm gonna not go there. So, but yeah, so I will do like 2.5 a compounded with 5 of Manjaro or Zepbound, or if you have a Manjaro stash from back in the day, it's not expired. Like I have someone who she normally takes 1.25, so she's got like 2 boxes of 2.5 hanging out because she doesn't really need them. Except she's using one this week because she ran out of compounded before she realized it. But I have no problem if she wants to do like 2.5 of Zepbound plus 2.5 of compounded, or like my Frankendosing day, but do it to your dose, like do it to where you're supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, I think when shortages happened, patients had a little stockpile. So, I mean, I had a patient do like a 7.5 and a 5 to get their 12.5.
Yeah.
Expensive to do it that way, but
Whew. Yeah, right. Imagine if you had the original price of 2,200. That shit'll kill you. Unless you jab yourself with that damn L-carnitine. I don't know. I think I hit something. Supplements while on GLP-1. Tums. Just kidding. I needed Tums this morning. Actually, I'm kind of not kidding. Sometimes you just need the Tums. I don't know, Neil. What are your thoughts on this? What should we do?
I think at the minimum, I would do just a plain old multivitamin. I
Mm.
don't think you need to get something fancy. You can get a
No.
Centrum, you can get HEB's generic, you can go to Costco, get their generic. I think those are all fine. And for a lot of times, we'll recommend biotin as well to kind of help maintain your hair, because anytime you're in a calorie deficit, there is that potential. And we found pretty good success with patients keeping more hair and or growing it back while on the biotin.
I'm responding in chat.
Okay. Other than that, I think. Oh, other than, other than that, I don't think there's a lot of other supplements. I mean, other over the counter type stuff, for constipation, a lot of times like Miralax, Colace, Magnesium 07 kind of thing.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Maribel,
sugar-free.
yeah, sugar-free, the gummies, and not the knockoff kind, because those kinds stay stuck in your teeth for like days. why is my I don't know why my chat is not posting, but it might in a second. So somebody it looks like we've somebody asked my thoughts on Kratom. Um how that's necessarily related to GLP-1s, I'm not sure, but if you want to keep your brain cells intact, I would recommend not doing it.
Well, the hard thing with kratom is it's not regulated whatsoever, so you don't know the potency of what you're getting, and it can be highly addictive since it kind of hits that like opiate receptor, I believe. I'm not super familiar with it, but I believe that's what it does. And there was like a big thing about an overdose on kratom
Oh, I've have you
recently
seen
because
overdoses in the ER?
I've never seen anybody take
Oh,
kratom in the
I
ER.
have. That
Um,
is awful. I mean, it is like they're okay, Brandon is on, and I need to get Brandon on the TikTok if I can. We're talking about
Oh,
Kratom, Brandon. So, um, yeah, Brandon, have you ever seen an overdose of Kratom in the ER?
of what?
Kratom. It's a there's a Kratom store right by my
Oh,
condo, actually. Oh, you're breaking up just a little bit. I don't know if that's me or you. There you go. Anyway, it acts a lot like PCP when you're an overdose. For fair warning, um, I mm-mm. That's kind of a hard no for me. Um, Gabriel, you might be the only viewer on YouTube Live. I am sorry, guys. Go to watch AMS. Um, hold on, Brandon. I'm gonna stop. Oh, I can't stop. Do I stop your video? Hold on, because you're freezing. So I'm trying to figure out. I gotta stop.
is that
Whatever. I
better?
don't know. Yeah, that's better. Um, so yeah, you might be the only viewer on YouTube. So guys, if you have friends or if you love us at all, go to watch AMS and give us some views. No, one of the reasons that we're on YouTube as well is because the TikTok conspiracy stuff. Um, that we want to have if God forbid, a couple reasons. If God forbid TikTok ever gets taken down or banned, I'm not gonna like go black market TikTok. Um, things are not like your health is that important. That's weird. So everything will be YouTube. It'll be evergreen on YouTube as well. So these will be recorded, replayable. Instead of just live, we get to actually offer more if we do it that way. What kind of doctor? Thank you for asking. I love this. Like every time somebody asks me questions. I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night. No, I for real. I am an exactly what I'm trying to tell my cousin. He doesn't believe you. Yeah, yeah. People on drugs don't really believe rationale. So, um, I am emergency medicine board certified, an MD, the short version. But don't forget, this is not medical advice. I did my disclaimer, Neil, before you got here, but I didn't do it on Watch Hams. So,
uh-oh.
so yeah, this is not medical advice. This is not legal advice, not financial advice, and sure as crap, not relationship advice. So, yeah, we have a lifestyle medicine practice that we do lots of weight management, ton of GLP-1 stuff. We try to get your best success rate. We try to, kick ass and take names. Or if you're on Guardians of the Galaxy, kick names and take ass. We do that too. We take that off though. Um, let's see. Oh my God. I'm scrolling, looking at the Maribel. That thing still burns. So Brandon, you missed my thing. You missed my saga. Our new pharmacy. I got my stuff today after it was stuck on a FedEx truck all week. Okay, it was weekend. I'm being melodramatic now. It'll be a week and a half by the time the next story comes around. The fish was this big, and I just injected it, and it burned so bad, like
Hmm.
so bad. It still hurts. So I don't know if I like injected it in my aorta or what.
How long was your needle?
As big as the fish. Oh yeah. So, yeah, we're going long today. We're going long. We're doing a Hail Mary, Buffalo Bill style. No, not really. But we're gonna hang out longer on Mondays instead of Mondays and Tuesdays because Tuesdays engagement was always kind of crap. So, Lena, thank you, Lena, for liking the live. The more hearts we get, the more love we get, the more it gets shared. So, um, I'm like, how do I do this? And I do this every time. My dad's always like, you should really stop with your tech difficulties. Sorry, Dad. Again, my fault. Here, if you tap it, if you tap your screen twice, it gives you little hearts with confetti even, which is really fun. Yes, I like my own live because I couldn't remember how to do it. You know who I haven't seen in a while is because I haven't gotten on. She's on when we're on the same time is DMF Kim on the Zepbone. She used to be um, Kim on the Majaro. Kim on Majaro. DMF. What was it? I don't remember. I'll have to find her. They do the plus sides podcast. And their podcast is like the same time as this one. So anyhow. Um so yeah, so Neil's face is on Neil's little face is on TikTok. How many likes did you so Brandon, is your TikTok up yet?
My TikTok's not up.
No TikTok from Brandon. We'll have to get Faith to get your TikTok up.
Yeah. But I'm still available all the time.
Yeah, so once you have a certain number of likes on TikTok, you can be in follows on TikTok. You can be invited to kind of the party, but you can't see Neil's face. So Neil has a little circle icon. So people, if you're on TikTok, like Neil, go follow Neil. He's the one sitting next to me, not saying much. Just kidding. Because it doesn't say anything on TikTok the way it sits. So I had to mute my thing. But go like him because you need 1,000 likes to actually go live, 1,000 follows. So go follow Neil. Look at that. We 100%. We went up 100% on YouTube.
Boom.
Anyway, right? Exactly. Yeah. No, Gabriel was talking about Kratom, and he thinks it's just some sort of tea. Yeah, that's how it goes. We've seen enough. What is the bath salts horrific epidemic there?
Oh yes. God, I haven't seen that in a
sort of
long
like
time. Thinking.
it's like that. It's like when you see a Kratom ingestion, it's like that. It's like, oh God, we're at the bath salts again, are we? And it's like, when they try to make illegal things legal by tweaking something, you're tweaking something, all right. What if that's where that came from? Anyway, I digress. But it's funny that we're talking about this. I had a patient last night in the ER who came in and she has a history of high blood pressure. Do you have any other medical history? And she says, no, I'm just fat. And she's been on Ozempic for 2.5 years with mediocre weight loss, I would say. I'm hoping she's here today. I might have told her we had a public live. So, but like, I honestly, and it's really hard for me because when I work in the ER, I work in the ER. Like I'll tell people about my experience, but I don't tell people like, hey, I got to practice, and people will almost always ask me, like when I do you have a card? And I said, I don't give my card out in the ER because it's wrong. And because it's not what I'm doing there. I am emergency medicine there. And I'm very good at compartmentalizing that kind of stuff. Speaking of emergency medicine, cut the crap out of my thumb. Probably needed stitches. It's okay. I have one of those in my house. And he's like, do you need stitches? No, I don't. I'm good. It's fine. It'll heal. So, really, but I wish that we had gotten, like, I wanted to get a hold of this woman, like, I'm like, we can do this for you. We can get you in here. We can get the sense of community. We can get get the big pillars going, get your big rocks going. We like, cause she lost like 15 pounds. And I'm like, you've been on Ozempic for 2 years though. Like, God, you need to go. Yeah. I'm not, yeah. Well, it's not about the HIPAA for me. When I do emergency medicine, Gabriel commented on YouTube is if I don't use names, it's not HIPAA, which is why I'm being super general because she was an awesome patient. But it's not about the HIPAA for me. It's about conflict of interest. Like I don't go to one job and I don't do that there. I just don't. It's hard though, because it's a passion and I love this stuff.
Oh yeah. I'll talk passionately to him about meds. And some I've asked, I'm like, my name will be on your discharge paperwork. You can Google me and you'll find me.
Yep. Yeah. Because people will be like, how do you know so much? I'm like, well, because it's a passion of mine and it's kind of what I do all day, every day. So it's sort of, and yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, it is difficult. Conflict of interest. It is. Yep. And because I don't, I mean, it's, But it is a passion, right? It's so hard. But that's the thing. Because I'm a sports nutritionist as well. So if I'm going to give people nutrition advice in the ER, which I did all the time, but I'm not making money from it, And plus, I don't want to steal her from her doctor. We have a patient who gets her meds prescribed from her doctor and still pays us for services because we do all the other stuff. Like, it's totally worth it. So I love that. And I didn't know it either. It was hilarious. I want a doctor who's passionate about what I'm seeing them for.
Absolutely.
I'll never shut up. Hi, Linda. Linda's the one who pays us for our brain, not our monkey ability to write a prescription. And our stupidity. Oh, yeah. That was cute. Except underneath, when you Google Neil, it doesn't really say hot biker. That is just an opinion. It is just an opinion.
Not mine. It was from someone. It was from someone last week on YouTube.
It was. I know, but it's fantastic. Do you still have a motorcycle?
I don't anymore.
I know. Greg sold his.
I was very happy to when I sold it that I kept I have all my limbs still. So
I know, right? We have all of our limbs. My husband's face is not, scattered across asphalt. So yeah.
There's a couple ugly motorcycle wrecks and lots of lost limbs, and I'm like, yeah, I've had enough. I'm not riding it as much. Forget it.
I know.
Maybe one day in the future.
I know. Believe me, I get the text all the time of, look at this one. I know. Go ahead. And what are you going to do? Please don't put my child on it. But again, what did I do growing up? But I always had to wear a helmet.
Oh, have a good day, Gabriel.
As a future trillionaire, I'm off to pursue my wealth for the day. Have a great day, Gabriel. That's awesome.
Kelly's asking the incidence of pancreatitis on patients on GLP-1s coming to the ER. I have never seen it.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I asked somebody, I lost 45 minutes of my life on Instagram responding to a GLP-1 post after the Oprah thing. 45 minutes of my life. I can't do it. I can't hang out on social media. Except, for now. I don't do it. It's hanging out.
I have seen people with gastroparesis, but I've not seen pancreatitis.
How many people have you seen with gastroparesis? And were they diabetic? That's my second question.
3. Not much.
Knocking down the doors, man. Knocking down the doors.
Yeah, it's not much. And most of the time it's people that are either like changing dose or maybe misdosed themselves.
Okay.
I can't remember anything that was significant enough to keep them. I think one lady I might have kept.
Well, yeah, Greg had a patient once whose doctor wasn't, I don't know. Let me rephrase. The patient misunderstood the dosing instructions and she thought it was like her insulin. So she injected every day for 4 days.
Yeah.
I
would say we see a lot more like cannabinoid hyperemesis,
speaking of kratom,
type of gastroparesis, but not from GLPs.
You know what? That's a really good point. People ask all the time about gastroparesis, and I'll get back to the pancreatitis thing because I got off on a tangent. But people ask about gastroparesis, and nobody cares you get it from smoking weed. Yeah. People do that shit all day, every day. Nobody ever cares about that. You get an FDA-approved medication, now everybody's freaking out. I always have to be controversial. All right, so pancreatitis. Yeah, I don't. There's a ton of that. God, the marijuana hyperemesis, they puke like nothing. Yeah. Like, that's horrible. And it sounds awful. And it's always right in the bed right next to you, like right by the desk. Sorry. All right. With the direction of all its lifestyle meds go, I'm debating getting my FNP. I don't know. What do you guys think? I have an opinion on everything, but you know what opinions are like.
I mean, education is always great. And I guess it kind of depends on what you want to do with that FNP. It's hard in some areas, like primary, like if you're going to do like just primary care office, that kind of stuff, you can actually make more hourly in like the ER for some of those job sites. So, if you like what you're doing and you're happy, you can stay there if it's about money. If you want to do other stuff, like I want to do more stuff. I wanted to intubate and do stitches and have a little bit more autonomy. So
run traumas.
Yeah.
Run traumas because we had 8 of them at the same damn time.
Yeah. But I'm still happy I did it, and I would do it again.
Well, and even here, we were talking about this. Like, I don't want my people at AMS. We're kind of rebuilding from the ground up here, but I don't want my people at AMS to be just nurse practitioners, right? Like, I never did in the ER either. Well, because it was more like, all right, how are we going to like keep this fire sort of under control? More of a slow burn instead of exploding the entire building. Um, like this is this. Don't take this the wrong way to anybody watching, but like my nurse practitioners are not just nurse practitioners. Like period. Like I want I want business advice. I want growth advice. Hey, how can we do this? These are my friends, my colleagues, my team. So I think if you're going to go back to school, like Nikki Baldwin is a nationwide telehealth nurse practitioner. She has license in every state and DC. That's like, and she took 5 years to build up like her clientele. She was primarily on the push platform, but she's going private practice now because she really is. She does care a little bit different. We have a podcast on the providerside.com and we have another one on the patientside.com. We're really going to focus on the provider side because a lot of the patient stuff we cover here and it's more fun. It's more fun in group. But so Nikki as an FNP, like she does a lot of urgent care and she does a lot of repeat stuff. We have kind of coined bridge care. So like if you can't get into your doctor and you need something real quick, she'll hop in and like it's like $99 and you're done. But you always get to go back. It's like a backup doctor, a doctor in your pocket. So anyway, yeah, I always have ideas. Yeah, not always great ones. Oh, I'm there. I'm driving that damn bus. Just ask these guys. But speaking of which, Brandon, did you do your assessment? I'm ratting you out in public.
Not yet.
What did I do to Michelle last week? I did something to Michelle last week too. And I know Michelle didn't work last night because I was there.
Yeah, it's been chaos. I've got like a screaming baby in the background. I keep going off and on a mute here, but I will probably do it tonight or tomorrow.
It literally takes like 5 minutes. So yeah, we're doing this cool assessment. When you said that, Diane, about ideas, about the 6 types of working genius, it was a great book. And I'm looking at everybody in the company to see what our strengths are. It's like that Strengths Finder book, a couple of decades ago. Also a good one. But my whole thing about getting your FNP, I think what Neil said is right. If you're going after it just for money, you got to do it differently. Now, but if you hop on like non-traditional income streams for nurse practitioners, like on YouTube, it's ungodly prolific because I've looked at a lot of it just because I want to see what's out there and get ideas and stuff. So yeah, it's never just for money, right? I'm still paying off my goddamn student loans. It's not, if it was just for money, to be like, I could have done something else. But yeah, I was talking to the doc who was on at the CCC last night because that's what I do is I see who's on and, snoop across the tracker. And he was saying his student loans are going to be paid off next month and he's a young pup. I was like, good for you. Good for you. Mine are under 3%. So they're going to stay there as long as they're there. So anyway, that's a random story. Well, $225,000 student loans later. It's no big deal. Times 2. It's all good. It's all good.
Does it let you know when that assessment's done? Because I did mine the other day.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Oh boy.
Yeah. It was funny. I'm like, God, no wonder we butt heads all the time. Well, I don't know if we butt heads so much as like knock things down with our foreheads. We're like more like the Jurassic Park dinosaur. We're just let's go this way. A pittance, yes, yes, right. Just medicine in America. And I've been out 15 years. So, and they were 30-year loans. I paid a lot on them for a little bit. Not that you guys need to hear this, but I paid a little bit because I tried to get the high interest ones down. But I played ostrich for about 10 years. Like Brandon said, my kid was born and it was a lot of survival. Like it was a lot of survival. And my variable interest loans that I thought were 4 and 4.8 were like 9 when I actually looked at them. And I was like, I wasn't prepared for that.
Yikes.
So yeah, I paid those off right away. It wasn't a huge sum, thank God. Most of mine were lower than that, but were less than 5, and then I paid those off next. And I'm paying it off like credit card debt because I have like 6 loans in there, and they all have different interest rates. But yeah, that's what happens. It's like real life, And I played ostrich for about 10 years. I was too busy doing trauma shit and having fun and surviving. Now I actually have a little bit of brain space, which kind of brings me to the GLP-1 bit. That's what I was talking to this lady last night, and we were talking about food, and she was just people, I don't know, fate throws you in my path for a reason, but we were just talking about like food addiction and that kind of stuff. In your practice, do we also see face-to-face or just tele? We are 100% remote. That being said, I've been looking lately. We have a ton of people in the area.
Yes. Every once in a while I'll send a script. I'm like, you live on
like
the street,
3 doors down from me. So we don't do technically face-to-face. We do have a handful of patients that we prescribe testosterone therapy to, but those are only in person, and those are only people we know. So not really. We do 100% remote telehealth. We do video visits for all of our patients, regardless of the state you live in, because that's just our practice. It's just what we do. So we're in 11 states now with more coming. But yeah, we were launching a coaching program for healthcare providers to learn to do this, that we shut down preemptively. Okay, just so I can. Oh, great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I do the same, because Myra with Join Mochi, I love her stuff. She's like super science-based. Join Fridays is good. IVEAM, I hear super good things about, but I don't know much about them. I don't see a lot like of material, but I also don't look. So, but I hear great things about their service. I first started out with Push Health. Oh, Neil, this one's all yours. Do we prescribe any other peptides like AOD 96?
We don't. So the FDA made them, I think, class 2 for safety. So they're pretty much watching them. They think there's more harm than benefit to them. So when they put that little announcement out, most of the compounding pharmacies stopped. They literally took them off their list, and I can't prescribe them. Do I like peptides and think they're pretty safe? Yep, especially that one. That one's been around for a while, that AOD 96. The only one I still can use, I think, is Sermorelin,
I was
which
going
is
to say
a
the
growth
Sermorelin. I
hormone
think it's the
releasing
only one that I
peptide.
can recall.
That's the only one that I still have left.
Yeah, it's a bit frustrating. Yeah, it is. Yeah. That patient I saw last night was actually gaining weight on 2.4 Wegovy. I'm like, it is time.
Time to switch meds, time to add something, like naltrexone or metformin.
I
Like,
was like,
there's stuff that
so
can
you
be
might
done.
consider asking your doctor if they think that Zepbound is a good drug for you. Because she has really good insurance. She has Medicare with supplemental pharmacy.
Okay.
So it covers Wegovy. I'm like, well, you might want to consider asking your doctor. I said, but if you do, I would actually just kind of, from what I've seen, I would also ask her if you can start at the lowest dose, because there's a chart going around with the glycemic control equivalence that is so confusing, and people are switching from semaglutide to tirzepatide or vice versa and just doing a super high dose. And granted, if you'd like to come see us in the ER, that sounds like a good plan. But if you'd like to keep your stomach contents where they belong, I would recommend starting low if you switch. Now, if you switch from Zepbound to Mounjaro or Mounjaro to compounded tirzepatide, it's a dose for dose switch. It's the same base compound. But if you go from semaglutide to tirzepatide, like there are doctors, and hers is a very conservative PCP, so it should have been fine. But there are doctors who, if you're on 2.4 Wegovy, they're like, you'll be fine on 10 of Mounjaro.
You might be, but
You-
I would absolutely not take that risk.
You might be, or you might get pancreatitis or be throwing up other people's food. Yeah, exactly. Could you imagine?
Did she give you any other discussion as to why she thought she was not losing, or was she not having any appetite suppression, or what was the issue?
So I think it's multifactorial. Her husband is a type 1 diabetic, so cannot take GLP-1s. He has to do lifestyle, eat less and move more. So he's fighting the biological drivers by himself. He tried Contrave. They both tried Contrave. She paid out of pocket $600 for Contrave. And I'm like, oh, she hated it. So she took it for a week, couldn't tolerate it, and was out $600. Anyway, so I was like, anyway, but I did ask her too. I said, so if your insurance covers Wegovy, do you have the savings card as well to lower your copay? She's like, no. And I get it. PCPs are so damn busy. They're so busy. They're so busy. But anyhow, we talked about it. For her, I think it's her brain. I think her brain is, to quote Marvel, a bag of cats, much like mine. And I think she's got, she's working in an environment that's sort of working against her, Now, if I could get my hands on both of them, I'm like, come on. And I'm like, no, we could do this because we get you on Zepbound. Here's what if you were my patient, which I did not tell her this, but if she were my patient, we'd start her off on 2.5 as Zepbound. I would get her husband on metformin. I would start there because he's got CKD stage 3. So he's got chronic kidney disease. God, I can't say that out loud. I would love for type 1 diabetics to be able to take GLP-1s.
If they have a continuous glucose monitor, of course.
Right. Because some of them, you need to get rid of the fat mass because, and Brandon, I've said this a lot, and I told this patient last night, once your fat mass reaches a certain amount, it becomes its own endocrine organ and it becomes your biological driver to eat and to store fat.
Yeah, so, it just drives insulin resistance.
Yeah. And the funny thing is my labs, when I had my labs done, I had no insulin resistance in my labs. But my brain is so messed up and hardwired that I'm sure there's something in there that we just don't know how to measure yet that would be like awful. I don't know. All I know is living in my head was hell. Living in my head was hell. Same, yeah. I guess. Either or. I know I'm thinking, oh my God, I got to get more coffee. And which means I'm going to have to leave the live for a second. Is there like a coffee delivery service in my house? I don't think my dog can do that. But when Balaj was living with us, it was the first time we ever had professional triathletes stay in our house. I'll never forget. Greg rolled over in the morning because our bedroom is right by the garage, and Joseph Major, who used to be a pro triathlete, was walking through to our garage. He goes, get on his bike. Greg rolls over and goes, how do you say get me some coffee in Hungarian? I'm like, I don't know. So Eunice, off-label Vyvanse with GLP-1, is it ever done for stubborn weight loss? That's probably about the only reason I would ever do that class of meds for weight loss, with a big caveat. We don't prescribe it because we don't do controlled substances, but because there's so many other we have to make sure of with that class. I don't know. What do you guys think?
It's not the first I've had Brendan ask that. Oh, go ahead, Brendan.
I was going to say, Neil, probably the same thing you're going to say. I think metformin is so much safer and for so many more reasons. Too much concerns with just any Vyvanse or any of those category.
And my other problem with those medications is they're hard to find. There's shortages. So even if you're on it for like a month and then now you can't find it for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, it kind of defeats the purpose of it. And if you're on a GLP-1, you're already on the best medication that we've ever had for weight loss. So even if I was stuck, I would probably, I would go to metformin first. If I was craving stuff, I would add in naltrexone. That's where I'd go first.
Lee Rod, look at Neil. He's almost all the way live. I know, Lee Rod, and we have Brandon. If you go to, I got 3 people. I got my dudes at Watch AMS, Watch Hams. It's not Watch Hams. There's only one H, but still. And AMSpublicgroup.com. Oh, we did it again, Neil. We've been on for 43 minutes.
Yeah.
And we didn't tell people how to be patient. Plus, I want to tell Eunice what she can do if you got stubborn, if you're plateauing. So go to amstelehealth.com if you want to be our patient. Check out our states. All right, Neil, go with what we would tell Eunice if she was our patient and it's just stubborn and the scale won't move.
Yeah. So first things first, we got to make sure everything else is in check. If we're kind of like at a stall, if that's what we're considering it. First thing first is we like to make sure you get an adequate amount of protein. For women, it's around 100 grams of protein per day. Guys, around 150 of lean quality protein. Two things that does. One, well, a couple things. It helps keep your muscle mass, which is your fat burn machine. It helps you stay fuller longer and get fuller faster. And people who start the day with 30 grams of protein or more typically eat about 300 grams or 300 calories less per day. So you're looking at a free half pound a week taken off just from eating protein for breakfast. The next thing we like is make sure you're staying hydrated with like an electrolyte drink. Body Armor Light, for those that can see it. Gatorade Zero. You're not getting those electrolytes because you're not eating them, because you're eating dramatically less. So you need your sodium, you need your potassium, and that's why we replace them. It'll make you feel better, give you more energy, get rid of muscle cramps. Hi, Lena. Next is making sure you're getting enough sleep. If you're not sleeping well, you're probably not going to lose weight. So we try to aim for about 7 hours of sleep for people. The next step would be stress. High stress is going to increase your cortisol level, which is going to make weight loss just about impossible. The body just wants to hold on to everything. So limiting stress or finding ways to mitigate stress, whether it's meditation or walking or even exercise, will help with that. And then there's always the movement. So even if you can't go to the gym or lift weights, we always like movement of some sort. Deliberate movement, like going for a walk for 10, 15, 20 minutes. If you're just beginning, 5-minute walk is great a couple times a week, and then slowly advance it until you're walking a little farther. That'll kind of get things moving.
TikTok. I'm going to interrupt for 1 second. You got to look on TikTok because they can see you now because I have it turned around because I have to go get coffee and a protein shake.
Yeah, I just noticed that. So that's where I would start. Like if you're at a stall, I would make sure all those things are correct and in check. And then I would add something or change something. If you're on like semaglutide product, Wegovy, Ozempic, sometimes just switching to the other medication, tirzepatide, will help dramatically for some people. I've only had one person in all the patients we've seen that was just non-responder to semaglutide. Everybody else has done pretty well on it. Let me see. Oh, okay, Lena. It's like, that's why I said, hey, Neil, because she can see me. All right, Eunice is saying weight loss, slow, 5 pounds in 2 months, but severe, anemic, and hypothyroid for 10 years. Getting treatment for both currently. Thanks for the info. You are welcome. And sometimes on a GLP-1, your thyroid meds may need to be adjusted due to a couple processes. One, you may have difference in absorption. And then the GLP-1s just do weird stuff to your thyroid levels. Sometimes they decrease a little bit. And then, with the anemia, I would really make sure that you're getting enough protein in, red meat sources, or like supplementing with an iron supplement if that's the reason you're anemic. The Temu version of Alive. Thanks, Lee Rod. Since Bo's gone, I had a question. So you said you've seen a couple patients with gastroparesis from GLP-1s. Yeah. How did do we rule out everything else? Is that why we'd assumed it was gastroparesis or diagnosed gastroparesis, or were they just? I guess
theoretically, you got to have a stomach emptying study theoretically, but CT was normal, lipase was in the 50s, chemistries and everything were pretty normal, and most of them responded to just fluids, generally like 2 liters of LR. Compazine, I feel, works pretty good, and then actually a couple of them, Haldol, worked pretty good. 2 milligrams of Haldol. So kind of.
Okay, so it's very similar to like marijuana hyperemesis syndrome.
Yeah.
With the fact that those type of medications work the same ones.
Yeah, I did drug screens on quite a few of them, and they were not using marijuana. So,
okay. Yeah.
I think one gentleman was on Ozempic. That was the most recent one. And he thought he had pancreatitis. He's like, yeah, my doctor told me I have pancreatitis. His lipase was like 58. And
did you ask him if he ate broccoli?
I didn't ask him if he ate broccoli.
And that's the thing. It could have just been a dietary thing that, like he had red meat that day.
It could have been,
And he
yeah.
hadn't had that. And it just causes a lot of irritation and, gives people a lot of pain for whatever reason. Was he constipated on CT?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Neil, I'm just laughing in my head of, I always said this, Neil has these responses that are like Pavlovian. Like every time I get on the phone with GI, he makes fart noises. Things like that. Like you're working with a, 12-year-old and
Psych's on the phone. That's crazy.
yeah. Or, hey, going to the OR.
Oh, are you?
Every day. So anyway, yeah. What the hell were we talking about though? Because it was something else that something you said. And I was like,
something Pavlovian. I said, but my response already.
I don't know. And it's because if something Brandon said, I was like, oh great, here we go. But it is. It's like literally, I've got 10 years of this in my head. So I wish like I had like affirmations back there, where like as soon as like, is it seriously like every time I hear these things, like when I tell you go to watch AMS on YouTube to find us on YouTube. Watch hams.
Watch hams.
It might have been about the Haldol. I don't know.
Could have been, right? Oh no, but yeah, the one thing I tell people that really knocked me for a loop that I didn't expect. I had it was like 7:00 one night. I had Whole Foods meatloaf and mashed potatoes, which I absolutely love, and that sat there in my stomach for 18 hours. And like it felt so awful, like, and I didn't overeat it. It was literally like this little piece of meatloaf and mashed potato, like that was nothing, and it was awful. And I can eat tacos, I can do whatever. Like I can eat whatever I want now. I had a big salad the other day. I was so proud of myself. I didn't make it either. It's in my house. But are you going to be coming to Idaho so we can have good doctors? That's a damn good question. I don't know. We can put Idaho on the list. Until then, you got to go with Nikki. I got to get her to come to one of these lives, by the way. I keep trying. I added her as an external observer in our Slack channel so she could get but of course I didn't. Oh, I did it today. I sent it there. But I know we're going to get more states. We're going to work on it. We're doing okay. We got to get there. Did you guys look at Eunice's comment? I'm sure you did.
Is there no one?
Yeah. Well, she said weight loss is slow, 5 pounds in 2 months, but severely anemic and hypothyroid for 10 years, getting treatment for both.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Energy level with anemia, it's tough to. Well, here's a question. Speaking of energy level, what do you think when people say like they're on a GLP-1? My doctor said I'm not eating enough to lose weight.
That I disagree. I mean, if you're trying to lose weight, you probably have enough fat stores, and that's where the extra energy is going to come from for your daily activities. You just need to make sure you get enough like protein, vitamins and minerals, hydration for the day-to-day stuff, and keeping your muscle, and the rest of your energy is coming from fat, which is what you need to burn it.
Right. Agreed. Pamela asked, does tirzepatide decrease inflammation in the body? So that one study we found with semaglutide, which is like essentially half of tirzepatide, showed a decrease in CRP of up to 60% at the higher doses. So CRP is a widely used inflammatory marker. Well, that's what the lady last night was saying. She was so cool. We hung out for a long time. That's the nice thing about working at the Dairy Queen. Trauma Center of Excellence, man. But she said she was actually losing weight to get knee replacements, but just being on the medication made her knees feel so much better that, and I mean, I wanted to get a hold of her bad. Like, I'm like, you need to stop putzing around here and get this shit done. Because, I mean, she's like, I just want to be under 200. And I'm like, you need to be where you need to be. I'm not settling. We don't settle. We need to get you to a healthy weight where you wake up and you just enjoy being in your skin. You wake up and you're like, oh my God, this is me. What the hell was that fat suit I've been carting around? It's just a world of difference, and not living a life run by food, which is key. I mean, that's the thing. It's the brain space. And Neil talks about this all the time, because he'll say flat out that for me, this is a mental health drug at this point because I cannot live a life run by food anymore. It's been 45 years and I'm kind of done. And somebody actually, that patient said last night that her doctor said, or someone said, that this wasn't a long-term solution. It's the only long-term solution that we have, the only successful long-term solution that we've got in our arsenal. It's the only thing that works, right? I mean, you can't use phentermine long-term. Oh, we got somebody had a comment on TikTok. We got filtered, not we, but somebody else made it. And if you have a vulgar comment or a nasty comment on TikTok, I can't see them, so that's no fun. Put it on YouTube.
Yeah, I kind of want to see them.
I know, right? I want to see what they are. Put it on YouTube so we can. So if you're on TikTok and you're being mean, go to YouTube and be mean so we can at least address it. WatchAMS.com.
Watch AMS.
Watch AMS.
For anybody out there, feel free to ask all the questions you want. That's why we're here. Talk about GLP-1s, weight loss, lifestyle medicine.
Not being crazy in your head. Well,
not being crazy in your head.
Anthony Mackie fell over, Neil.
That's what he gets for being a terrible actor.
I love Anthony Mackie. He fell over. My cleaning ladies knock him over a lot. Oh, and I do too, apparently. Sorry, he doesn't fly. He doesn't fly like he does in the movies. All right, here he goes. Okay, that's better. It's the Funko Pops over here. It's the Funko Pop village over there. I know we don't have any questions today. We don't have a lot.
We've told everybody everything already. They're good.
I know.
Good to go.
I know. Send your friends. Send your family. No. And one thing I was telling that woman last night too is, she had plateaued for a while, and I said, I weigh myself every day to see if it's really a plateau, and right now it's really a plateau for me. But I know why. I started tracking yesterday. Speaking of which, we don't really talk much about that, like on how to break a stall. You actually have to find out what you're eating. Find out what the macro breakdown is, what you're eating, how many calories you're eating. I'm eating a lot. So yesterday was, bless you. Yesterday was logged, which meant I wasn't doing my normal. My normal of late. I was like, oh my God, no wonder you're 5 pounds up. You got to fix this. Figure this out. Stop your brain. Metformin and B12. What are your thoughts on that? I don't know the answer.
It doesn't really give an answer. It just says high levels of metformin can over time decrease your B12 levels, depending on how high your dose is, length of treatment. So just one of those ones, you get your levels checked here and there is all I would do. And if you're concerned, take a B12 supplement.
Yeah, and it actually says they are compatible. Here we go from the NIH. Metformin blocks the absorption of B12 through a mechanism that has not been established, but could be because of interference with the calcium-dependent binding of the intrinsic factor vitamin B12 complex to the receptor in the terminal ileum. But here's the thing. If you're on a GLP-1 and you have a longer transit time through the gut, I would think that you had better absorption of that B12 because it sits in the guts longer. But I mean, who knows? And maybe that's why people can tolerate metformin when they're on a GLP-1, because that's one thing we found is that people have no trouble tolerating metformin when before we could not take it.
Oh yeah, I couldn't get off one pill. Like every time I did it, my food from last week was still in my stomach. I took the semaglutide and I tried to go up again and no problems. And I haven't had.
Which is weird, right? Because if it decreases your gastric emptying, and you'd think they would be a synergy, but it's not. It's a synergy in the metabolic repair, not a synergy in the gastric slowdown.
So Pamela, my second
Yeah.
injection of 5 milligrams is actually reducing my appetite. I know it's a low dose, but exciting. Doesn't matter the dose. If it's working for you, that's great. If five's your dose, if you can stay on 5 milligrams for 6 months, that's fine. You just kind of go up when you need more appetite control.
I know, right? Yeah, and you can sometimes go up if you need to, but yeah, like I was on 5. The first time I ever took 7.5 was, I don't know, a year into it, maybe. I had been at my healthy weight, my goal weight. I don't know. I hate the words. I need a good word. My stable weight.
Comfortable weight?
Comfortable. I
Yeah.
like comfortable. And it is healthy. You know, I was reading a resource the other day that talked about consulting a physician to make sure that your healthy weight is healthy, because we will convince ourselves otherwise. It's almost like when that sweet patient last night said, you know, I would be happy to just be under whatever. Well, that's not healthy. Like, that's not our goal. Our goal isn't to settle, right? Now, my healthy weight is less than 146 or less. Well, 111 and 146 within the disease bell curve, right? But 146 right now would feel enormous to my body. I am, I don't know, 4 pounds heavy, I guess, this morning. 5 pounds heavy this morning because I've been sitting there since Christmas. And it's Easter. So now I'm like, yeah, whatever. And no, I don't have any more mini eggs.
I was going to say, you did for some reason buy mini eggs thinking you weren't going to eat them.
I did. It's, again, so you asked, like, so, and people are like, it's a magic pill. I'm like, no, it ain't.
It's not magic.
No, it's not magic. God, I wish it was. Could you imagine, like, I never have to worry about this again?
I mean,
No.
it's really unbelievable what they do, but it's not magic.
It's not magic. It still takes a lot of work. For those of you like me, right? There are some people that, now I've also been on it almost 2 years. So, but yeah, last night she asked, you know, how long have I been at my comfortable weight? And I said, over a year. And that like brings me to tears. I saw on Time Hop, last year, right now, I had exactly lost 50 pounds. And I'm at like 47 now, so it's fine. Like, but I know why my weight's up. Like, it still doesn't defy the laws of thermodynamics. You know, people will argue, and this is what I got sucked into on social media the other day. It's not about calories in, calories out. No, yes, it always is. It always is. You are not going to defy the laws of thermodynamics. I get this, that we're not a closed system. We are a biological system, and there are a lot of influences, whether it's your thoughts. So, you know, if you're thinking crappy thoughts, what are you going to do? You're going to want to soothe those thoughts. Okay. It's going to decrease your metabolism. But that's energy out, right? So then if you eat the same amount of food, people are like, well, it's menopause. Okay. And which really hasn't been shown to slow down much. It's our activity level that slows down with age. It's not necessarily the hormones. It's the fact that we're not sleeping well. It's the fact that we're not active because we don't have energy because we're not sleeping well. It's not the hormones themselves. It's all these, again, there's still biological drivers. If we don't have energy, you don't want to do shit. So you're not going to get up and go for a walk, which of course would actually increase your energy, even if it was 5 minutes. But see, I'm an all or nothing kind of person. So if I'm like, I can't go out and do 5 miles, I'm not going. I've changed that over time. You know, if I can't run the whole thing, I'm not doing it. Okay, that's dumb. I walk a lot now. I'm old.
Crappy workout's better than no workout.
Exactly. I'm the queen of junk miles, man. Just figure it out. 2 weeks when I go to this race, you're going to watch me just rock some junk miles. I'm just hoping my persistence takes hold and I can, I don't know, do something. Just looking for a medal. You know, on the B12 thing too, a lot of people have B12 deficiency anyway.
Yep.
So, you know, if you get it measured, I don't know the answer on how long before it goes down. Again, just stuff you need to be monitoring.
I mean, mine was low. Like, so when I went to my HRT doctor, like everything was really low. My B12 was low, vitamin D, all that stuff. So I started metformin and I started B12 like sublingual, and it went back to normal. So I was able to overcome a deficit with sublingual B12 while taking metformin.
Well, that's cool, because if it messes up absorption of the terminal ileum and you take sublingual, it should circumvent that, because you're not.
I mean, in the studies, the sublingual works just as well as the IM shots, like for absorption. So
still, I'm not doing IM shots. After today, we're done. I'm telling you, I
I didn't
seriously
want to
think
do
I
it
hit.
either.
Huh?
I just took the B12, like the LipoFit, and I just did it sub Q, like, and I just did 50 units twice a week instead of the 1 ml or 100 units once in an IM.
Yeah,
Nope.
no, I can't. Life's too short to be stabbing myself with a harpoon like that. I still like the single-use pens. I do. I
Absolutely.
love
They're so easy.
it is, I mean, it's like it's a grab and stab, you know? I mean, it's like done. Type of foods matter on the meds, like reducing carbs or just overall calories. That's a fantastic question. So there are a lot of people, and we've talked about this a lot with um, things that you can eat and can't eat where you could eat it before. So to me, it feels like I think what it would feel like, and people can comment out there if you know what it would feel like to get a gastric sleeve. So in the beginning, I couldn't eat. Like when you're dieting, you want to do like volume first. I can't do volume, or I couldn't do volume. I can do volume now, just like a gastric sleeve. But um, this is what I got sucked into on freaking social media the other day. Somebody was all about carnivore and how no, it's seriously healthy for you. No, it's really not, to cut out an entire food group. So, but type of food, I have a video on TikTok from in the very beginning that was the one that literally went viral, where I said for the first month on the meds, I want you to do nothing. I want you to not worry about it. I want you to not diet. I don't want you to track. I don't want you to think about it. Nothing. We talk a lot about protein and stuff, but for the first month, now this is really for the first month that you can feel the effects, right? If you're not feeling anything, kind of doesn't count. But when you get to that, like, that 5 milligram dose or whatever that dose is that you're like, oh my God, this is it. You're like, this is what people felt like. And hold on, I got to verify for the TikTok. There we go. But I want people to relax. We have spent so much time orthorexically seeing what we're eating, tracking macros, tracking the workouts, tracking the steps, doing challenges. Oh my God, I just want people to go outside, go for a friggin' walk and eat something every now and then. Like, that's it. Stay hydrated. Hydrated's key though, because that's something you have to pay attention to, especially in the beginning. I just want people to just chill out. Like it was such a blessing. I couldn't eat a whole avocado back then. Those were the days.
But I think even after like that second month, you don't really have to track. The only thing I would tell you to track would be protein. And that's just so you know you're making sure you're getting enough. The other stuff will just fall into place.
But it doesn't fall into place if you're still having like wicked cravings.
Correct. And it's still
Well,
hard to get that protein in, but
I was gonna say, I just totally made an excuse.
you can overeat the drug. Some people can, and you
I
do. You
I
can. You figured out a way.
right? It's like gastric bypass. I could thank God I never did that, because I could totally circumvent that shit. Like my inner toddler right now, I don't want a protein shake. Whatever. I have this fight with myself all the time. That's why I got it. Because I'm like, if I'm on this live, I'll do it. See, I have speaking of which, hydration. Yeah, my patient last night was like, I get these weird muscle aches. My kid likes the fruit punch, by the way. HEB had it.
Nice.
Um, yeah, she's like, I get these weird muscle aches. I said, does your doctor make sure that you hydrate with something with electrolytes? No, I didn't know I was supposed to.
Neither does he.
It's just hard, like as a PCP. You got 8 million things to manage. Lee Rod asked, do you get more energy out of the B12 injections twice a week versus once a week?
I think it's the same. And I think it's hit or miss with the B12 injection. Some people like have tried the sublingual and it just doesn't do it for them. They try the shots and they're like, can't go without them. They love them. They have so much energy. Other people do them. They're like, I don't feel anything. I don't know if I really felt much from doing the B12 shots. And I don't think it matters if it's once a week or twice a week. It kind of starts to peak and it's pretty much like it'll raise and kind of come back down in about 3 days. So twice a week won't hurt. You can give it a go and then report back.
Does it burn? Because if it burns, I'm not doing it.
No, the LipoFit I was using does not burn at all.
I'm
no.
I'll try
Sometimes
it.
it'll itch a little later on, like a couple hours later, a little itchy, but I think it's more because there's that little 50 unit bolus right there.
Mm, yeah.
Hey, Neil, how long did it take you to get your levels up?
We rechecked in 6 months. We didn't check before then, so they might have been up sooner than that. But in 6 months, everything was back to normal.
Nice.
That's pretty amazing. Now, was that with the shots or that was all sublingual?
All sublingual.
Okay. Okay,
Yep.
that I can do. Ben and Manjaro, 18 months, 2 months on 15, stalled. Any anecdotal evidence to going down to shake things up? You know, some people will say, oh, I'm going to go off for a few months. The problem is when you go off, you got to go way down and then get back, like to like 5. And you can go like 5, 10, 15 as long as you have no side effects if you're our patient. Once you're ramping back up, because, a lot of times people, when we had the shortages, there are still shortages, you know what I mean? But now we have the compound option to fill in with much more reasonable price-wise options, which is awesome. Um, we don't really see a whole lot of evidence though for that.
Mm-mm. No, because your level's going to drop. You're going to get hungry. You're going to eat more. I would not do it. I would make sure all the other stuff that's important is in line. Make sure you're getting your protein,
Rest.
getting your hydration, moving, sleeping, decreasing anxiety to really see if you're really stalled. And if not, then, if you're our patient, usually we talk about adding other medications.
Difference between lipo C and lipo B shots. Is it one or the other? Or can you do both?
You do one or the other.
Yeah, one or the other. They're usually just a um, compounding, whatever the compounding pharmacy puts together. Everyone likes to have a proprietary fat burning mix, especially back before we had GLP1s, because they didn't work as well. We were looking for something. We were grasping at straws. So now as a
Yeah, I mean,
supplement, I think it's good, but I don't think they're necessary.
yeah, I mean, they like lipo-C. They'll throw like a lot of times they'll throw in like the L-carnitine, which doesn't typically have that in the vitamin B12 shots or the lipo B shots. But I think there was one company used. They had like 4 or 5 different like lipo shots, like Slim Shot and some other ones that were all different levels, different types of B12 in them. Um, so yeah, they're all just a little different. And every pharmacy is different with what they're going to put in it.
Yeah. Yeah. And because everyone wants to be the one that works the best, and
But I would not do both at the same time. If you're taking too much B vitamin, it can actually be you pee out most of your extra B vitamin. But if it gets too much and gets too high, you can actually get like numbness of your hands and your feet, and then you really have to avoid B vitamins. So not something you want.
which, by the way, that numbness, the tingling also happens with acetazolamide. I did not know that. Um, it was great for altitude, but it was super weird that like your hand, like I'm talking like falling asleep tingly, like that coarse tingle. It's very bizarre. So anyway, if you're ever going to altitude and you pre-treat, don't be surprised. But yeah, don't too much in the way of vitamins, because people will do a lot of naturopaths will do like mega dose vitamins. Don't do that. Don't do it. Get a doctor and make sure you're doing the right thing.
And God, please don't do it with vitamin D,
Yeah, no A, D, E, and K. Do not
the
overdo
fat
like
soluble ones, because it takes months to go down. My grandfather-in-law read something about myasthenia gravis and high doses of vitamin D, and he was so confused. Like he was out of it for like a week.
holy
They
shit.
couldn't even measure his levels. But all you can really do is hydrate and get it out of your system. Took a while.
Supportive care.
They hadn't, unfortunately, because he came to our hospital, they didn't check some levels on some stuff. Otherwise, me and Dante would have done a nice case study on it. But
Right?
we're like missing data. I'm like, nah.
It sucks.
Usually, Lee Rod, it's usually for prolonged periods of time that it happens.
So yes, for those of you on YouTube, Leroy said, "Great! Now every time my foot falls asleep, I'm going to be in a panic." I know, right? Yeah, it'll be a persistent thing. All right, we need some questions. What are we doing?
We
We
finally got a
need good.
couple people on Facebook. They're just not. Hey, people on Facebook, give us questions. Feel free.
I don't know now that Gabriel left. Well, Eunice is here though, so for YouTube. Sorry, I got a weird thing in my hair. I'm trying to think of others. Oh, I could always pull up our live topics. What was I thinking? Because there was something
This is
yesterday.
our
Oh,
fault
not a
for
magic pill.
this is our
Hmm?
fault for planning a longer
A
one.
long
If we
one,
try,
and nobody
we
cares
try to get
today.
off in an hour, it's nonstop
Yeah,
questions.
seriously. Normally, it's like people are firing questions. We can't get off. Now we're like, crickets, guys, crickets. We need questions.
I've got a friend who's just started terzepatide. He's in Louisiana, and actually about 2 months ago. And his interesting kind of take on it was, so he read, he's educated himself on it, read about it before starting it, and said, well, all of these side effects sound pretty horrible, but I guess the decision really is, do I want the risk of, this kind of obesity versus the risk that comes with that, heart disease, stroke, etc., or do I want the quote unquote documentation of risk of GLP-1s? And I told him, well, the interesting thing about that is it's all very much dose dependent. You're not going to have a lot of side effects at an appropriate kind of cadence of starting a dose, and if you do, we can mitigate that with medications. We can hydrate you. There's options. There's no options if you don't lose weight. You really have to
Right.
address the weight. But I think kind of an interesting conversation to have, especially if people are skeptical on, like, well, someone brought up lipo B and lipo C. GLP-1s there's immediate results. Sorry, I'm gonna go back on mute. My daughter's having a singing contest, but there's some immediate results and obvious benefit versus the alternative, which is do nothing.
Right. Like we know if you're overweight or you live a life run by food, like we know where that goes. There's no we never consider the risk of there's a quote out there that is making a decision to do nothing is still making a decision. And I feel like we don't address that if we go down that road, I'm going to die from this disease. We're going to die from and everyone's like, "Oh, you're going to die from something." But have you ever watched an obese 80-year-old try to function? My grandmother stuck in a chair for 12 years pretty much because when she would stand up, she would fall down and cut herself and then she wouldn't heal and she was not diabetic. She was just overweight. And then she
And
had heart failure.
the
What'd you say?
effect of all that, the effect of all
Yeah.
that on your joints and mobility for so long.
Yeah, and she wasn't mobile. And I just to watch that decline, and that really got me, you know. That was part of my midlife crisis a couple years ago. And but you're right. It's 13 obesity related cancers. We don't talk about that. There aren't commercials. There are commercials for a hamburger with 4 times the bacon and 3 times the beef, but there
Ooh.
aren't commercials for obesity causes 13 different cancers or plays a role in 13 different cancers. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that at parties. And of course not, because at parties everybody's eating. So we don't talk about the number one cause of needing a liver transplant now in this country is being fat. We don't talk about that. I mean, I don't know why.
Tony over on Facebook. I sometimes itch all over and fingers feel hot and tingle 1 to 2 days after my terzepatide injection. 24 hours and it resolves. What do you think about that?
I don't know.
I don't think it's the B12 causing
I don't think it's
paresthesias
enough.
and being on treatment for, let's say, a year. Um,
Yeah, I don't think it's enough.
No, because most of them, like it's you're taking a portion of a dose of like which you take for like B12 because you're taking, let's say, 25 units, and typically you would take 100 units for a B12 dose. So I don't think it's high enough. I don't think it's the B12 unless your levels were already really high or you're supplementing with additional B12 somewhere. It might just be electrolytes. I don't understand why it's the first 24 hours. But yeah, I would make sure you're drinking enough electrolytes with something like Body Armor Light, Gatorade Zero, and see if that helps around that time. And you shouldn't really itch all over unless it's something in there. Like, I don't think they put like niacin or anything like that would cause something like that.
Yeah, I don't
Hmm.
know. Yeah, that's
I know
something I would
some.
actually get some levels checked,
Yeah, some
I think.
people are stimulated by B12 injections, like they can't sleep, like they're kind of overstimulated.
Hmm. Um, Hold on, I wanna grab this question first from TikTok real quick. Can diabetes
Yeah,
cause hair loss? And I actually thought back to, like, all my PCOS and diabetic patients in the ER over the years, and many of the
yeah,
females had male pattern baldness, looking back, like, when you think about it, and I looked it up, and, poor diabetic control can be a symptom of both type 1 and type 2 diabetes. Nutritional deficiencies, right? Because 'Cause you're not using your nutrients well, so you're not gonna grow hair. That's, like, the last thing, you know? I still have my Muppet hairs, though, are, like, this long now, so we're getting there. Um, I gotta get Britt's question first because
yeah.
so sad I had to stop tirzepatide right when it started, but that stuff is so expensive. We actually have a new pharmacy that at the higher doses is expensive. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I just ordered the 7.5 dose and it's like $350. But at the high doses for 15 milligrams, it's 440.
I think
So
that's what
that's
it
at
is.
least
Yeah,
like kind of doable. It's not doable. I'm gonna get it. It's expensive as hell. But when you're not doing stupid things like me, and not overeating the drug, it saves you a lot of money for sure. But yes, it is very expensive. And I got it at Sandra's comment. So Sandra on YouTube, thank you, Sandra, for popping in. That's awesome. You're like our third YouTube viewer today. It's exciting. Sitting in a cardiac office last week, sobering, two ladies well over 400 pounds. Sad, but I don't think cardiac docs are up on GLP-1s yet. Um, they need to be. God, they need to be. Like literally, it shows a direct correlation to a reduction in cardiac events.
yeah, they need to be. There was just a study about it. Like they should be reading that.
Yes. I know, and and I know it's anecdotal. And thank you very much for. I can't remember who, maybe Lee Rod. I don't know who asked on TikTok, but asking for it wasn't Lee Rod. Anecdotal evidence. I appreciate that because like we're not conducting double blind studies here. We're talking about our experience. We're talking about our patient base, and our patient base is 4,000 patients over the years. Yeah, my cardiologist is not cool with it at all. Well, does he smoke at the bedside too? Because that's out of fashion. I mean, like I get like they used to and never wear gloves. Ugh. Um, it's frustrating. Mine really had no idea when I asked. God, but I get it, right? So they're busy, right? And they're looking at the interventional stuff. I get it. I get it, right? Because think about this: like you're a family doctor or a cardiologist, and you've got to treat, or you're a heart failure specialist. But if you're a heart failure specialist, like so for heart, like if you're end stage heart failure needing a heart transplant and you are obese, there are hospitals in my obesity medicine travels, looking at the boards and stuff. There are hospitals that will make you undergo gastric bypass, not cardiac, gastric bypass because it is an immediate reduction in cardiac load. And it'll make you lose the weight and get your blood sugar under control in a freaking hurry. Like, think about this. They're going to cut out half your stomach before they give you a heart transplant to give you the best rate of success. Somehow we've got to combine these two, and that's pretty cutting edge. And those are like the big hospitals. Like those are, I don't know if they're doing it downtown. We should probably find out. But I mean, that to me tells me they've had people that have been on LVADs that have had a reversal of their cardiac function once they had a gastric bypass or other bariatric procedure. Like they don't need a heart transplant any longer. I mean, what? So why are we not looking at GLP-1s to do this when people like it's a relatively, Brandon, you were talking about the risk and stuff. It is relatively low risk. I mean, seriously, sorry you're nauseated. Get the hell over it. Sorry you can't eat a pint of ice cream at a sitting, which I can, by the way.
Exactly. That's the whole point. The
Yeah,
risk is you're
minimal.
modifying some things, and you're significantly going to change your long-term disease risk.
Yep. Well, and one thing I was talking about last night too, one thing that causes people to overeat the drug is that, and I've had patients say this, that, well, number one, they'll have anxiety or depression when they're on GLP-1s. Part of this, not the whole thing, but part of this is I have used food. I'll use the I statements, right? Like, because this is not medical advice and it's not, I didn't do a double blind study. I have used food as a companion throughout my entire life for ease and comfort. You just took that away from me. You took away my blankie. So I actually have patients who weren't like that from a pathologic standpoint, but really enjoyed going out for happy hour, going out with friends and family. And now it's like, meh, they don't care. It disrupts your equilibrium mentally and socially if we take food out as a driver of enjoyment. So that's one thing that is super important to take a look at. But I don't know why I don't know why more subspecialties are not comfortable with the drugs, even if you can't get them because they're in shortage, which is frustrating. I mean, I don't know. I don't think about my grandma as often as I used to. Well, okay, that's a big fat lie. I don't think about her decline as much as I used to because right when she died, it was so, I watched her for literally like 15 years, like die in a chair, just because she didn't have the muscle mass to support 200 pounds. Maybe because they will have less patients with heart issues to treat. I honestly don't think that because, there's a lot of like people say big pharma doesn't, they want us sick. I don't even think they think that hard about it. They see a drug, they fix it, they make lots of money, they're happy. Now, granted, that being said, I also am a big fan of being sustainable. So whatever they need, I don't know what it costs to run a study like that, like the Surmount trials, the STEP trials. Oh my God, can you imagine the amount of money it costs to run that shit?
It's about money. Come on. I think it's AstraZeneca that literally phase 2 trials of a sickle cell drug just dumped it to explore a GLP-1 drug. So
it is about money.
It's about money.
It's about money. Let's say it's about impact, right?
I mean, there's
Many
probably more
people
obese people than sickle cell people, but
and people who will take the drug. You get an expensive sickle cell drug, nobody can take it.
that was my thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna put your money where your mouth is, and literally. Sorry, pun unintended, but it cracked me up at the moment. um, yeah, I don't know. I don't think they want us sick because people will say, "Oh, health insurance wants us sick." No, they don't. They want you dead. I don't mean to be a jerk here, but you're too expensive if you're sick. And taking a lifelong drug is expensive at this rate. I still keep trying to get like underground information on Tiva and how much the generic liraglutide is going to cost. I mean, not that I'm going to have the guts to try it because I just not going off of tirzepatide anytime soon. That's like saying, like my psych drugs are working, so I'm going to try something different. Just don't. Just no. Nobody needs a 72-hour hold in the ER.
Do we have a release date for the generic liraglutide?
I thought it was summer of 2024.
Let's see.
Hey guys, I've got to cut out. I've got to put my son down for his nap.
Naps
I
sound
do
good.
have, I have one more question that might be interesting for you to chat about. What do you guys think of the? I'm going to jet out after this, but what do y'all think of the newer by mouth formulations on the market of GLP-1s?
All right, we're gonna tackle that question because
Yeah.
I think a couple things. I've never tried Rybelsus, which is oral semaglutide, but it is a pain in the rear end when you look at the instructions. Now, my husband tried it, and he had great appetite suppression, worked just as well as the injectables. And he's only been on tirzepatide injectable, never semaglutide injectable. And it works well for the oral stuff works well for him because he doesn't have to take it every day. He more does it to break the mental cycle and to break the bingy sort of cycle. The pantry snack incidents in the evening. So it's just less fighting. So I think that if the oral options are easier to take, like you don't have to wait 30 minutes, empty stomach in the morning on Tuesday, with a full moon, then you can take your meds. Um, it's a little cumbersome even with Rybelsus, but if I
What was
think if
that?
they're,
Balloons?
Yeah, where did that come from?
I
You
don't,
must have done some kind of hand gesture.
I don't know.
oh, so seriously, Brandon can do the balloons by mistake and I can't do them on purpose.
Maybe it's I gotta go. So maybe that's what it is. Floating away.
We're throwing you a party. I think any way we can get it out there, I think this will be helpful.
Yeah, I
All
think
right, I'm out.
with the oral stuff, I think the injectables are more convenient. It's once a week, and like you're saying, you don't have to time your medication with not eating anything for 30 minutes. I mean, I take thyroid medicine. It's a pain in the ass some mornings that I have to wait 30 minutes before I can eat, drink coffee, do anything. It's annoying, and it's every day versus once a week and a nice little shot.
That's
And
true.
from what they are now, the injectables are superior to the oral stuff in the studies. So I
It's
still
a
would go with the
like the
injectable.
Cara, what's it called? Cara something? Is that what it is? The oral one? Or is it orglyphopron or whatever? God,
I'm not sure which one.
I don't know.
I read the article. I'm like, there's okay. These names are insane.
I know, right? It's like onomatopoeia. Okay, great, thanks. Oh,
I know Rybelsus is one of them.
yeah, Rybelsus, because Rybelsus is out there, but it doesn't cause a whole lot of weight loss. Hopefully, the new ones will cause more weight loss appropriately. I never want people to be like super skinny. It's not what we're looking for here. We're looking for healthy and feeling good in your skin. So, I mean, I think if it gets it to the masses, but it's going to be just as expensive as the injectables. That's the sucky
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
So
All right.
6 of one,
Nap
half
time's
dozen of the
close,
other.
guys.
All right, go to nap time.
Thanks.
Later, baby.
Later, bud.
All right. I know
Nancy.
someone with diabetes who cured themselves with no tablets. Good on them. Good job. Question: what does it mean if your liver enzymes are? I'll attack that in a second, but I don't want to forget this question.
Yeah.
What does it mean if your liver enzymes are elevated? Just had labs. I'm type 2. It usually means you have fatty liver disease, unless you're a drinker, and then you have fatty liver disease. That's funny. When I started saying if you're a drinker, no, same thing, because it does the same thing, right? It's your body's trying to store shit. Oh, Big Pharma's all about money. Yeah, I know. I tried. I'm such an idealist, Nancy. Nancy said she was talking about Big Pharma being all about money. I'm such an idealist. I am terrible, terrible. I just want to believe the best in people. I really do. But I'm very
And
grateful that they have these drugs for whatever
don't
reason.
watch the documentary on Purdue Pharma. And
I'm not watching any documentaries because it always makes me do something stupid with my diet.
oh no, this one about about OxyContin. So
Well, I'm not taking any of that. So,
yeah.
um,
See,
why
and
can't I?
Nancy, we do not prescribe in Massachusetts at this
I'm looking
time.
for Mindy's thing.
Does Mindy? I know
Nikki does.
Nikki does. So you can go to our website, amstelehealth.com, and scroll down, just find Nikki Baldwin. And we're looking up to see if Maribel has that state. But we do have options for you with people we know and trust that can help you out.
I'm trying to look at Maribel had just told me. Let's see. Let me look at Maribel. She told me her states. Maribel, if you're on here still, tell me your states. Yeah, type 2 diabetes, you can type 2, so curing diabetes without pills, right? Type 2 diabetes, yes, lifestyle change can cure type 2 diabetes or put it in remission, right? It's a chronic disease, you're never really cured. Hold on. Where's Maribel States? I don't know. Maribel, I need your help here. There's Maribel. Hold on. I'm looking through my texts, trying to find him. She gave me a list the other day. No Massachusetts for Maribel, so that would be either Melinda Curtin or let me look up guidancehealthnow.com or Nicole Baldwin at, we have a
My
new website
telehealth
to tell
connect.
people. No, but don't use that one anymore though, unless she's
Oh,
gonna, okay, so actually, you know what? Use mytelehealthconnect.com and I'm gonna have her forward it over to the new site.
there you go.
And she's gonna be like, what? Okay.
So confused.
All right, yeah. Okay. So mytelehealthconnect.com, we're going to have to use that because she's going to have to funnel it in anyway. So we're just going to keep using it. We're not fucking around. We're just going to fix it. We're going to fix it for her.
Vicky and Texas Cutie both took Rybelsus. Vicky made her sick for the 3 months she took it, and then Texas Cutie had more side effects and for longer than on tirzepatide. Yeah, we haven't had very many patients take the oral version, and with it costing
No.
the same amount of money, I would rather
Yeah.
have more bang for my buck.
And that's just it. Extremely sick. Yeah. They drank tea with different stuff. Yep. So, yeah, it didn't. Yep. Oh no, that's for the curing diabetes. Somebody's selling a
Okay.
tea. Somebody's selling an herbal supplement that is, oh no, this is as good as the GLP-1s. If these supplements were as good as the GLP-1s, we all would have been skinny before. Okay? Let's just call it what it is. And let's put it out there. If these things were that good, we wouldn't need this drug class, right? We wouldn't need the metabolic repair that this drug class offers.
I mean, I guess theoretically it could have like berberine in it that functions similar to like metformin, and then
Yeah,
with long-term weight loss, a lot of times your A1C improves. And you guys technically, if someone
absolutely.
checked your labs and didn't know it, you wouldn't be diabetic, even though you have that history always.
Right. Would they help? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are we going to get around the fact people are like, well, I don't want to use a fake medicine I don't want to use, people don't like big pharma. Well, if you don't want to use it, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like if people came to me and said, I just want your lifestyle management. I'm not comfortable with the medications. I just want to do healthy habits. I want to work on some supplements. I want to do some, we can tell you all of them. Neil and I are both nutritionists. We do this shit for a living. We can do it all. But if you want actual medical based results with a risk benefit ratio that is in its favor, that is why we talk a lot about GLP-1s, management, success, and side effects. Yeah, made spice, onion leaves, and something else. I don't know. What if it worked for him? Good job. I mean, like, I don't care. I don't begrudge it. Like, so Neil, the other day when I got lost in the rabbit hole, it was a bodybuilder. Caribbean people know about natural stuff. Yes, so do the Asians. Unfortunately, though, even the Asians are being overtaken by hyperpalatable food at this point. So even, yeah. Anyway, I know it is what it is. Like we're running ourselves into the ground. I'll take door number 2, please. Yeah, you and me both. I can't fight anymore. I've tried all the things. For sure. Yeah, no, lots of cultures. No, and now the thing is, all of these herbal medicines, what do they have in them? Chemicals. What are manufactured medicines? They are chemicals that have been studied, FDA, double blind, blah, 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 all the things, and approved. Right? It's just taking usually some jungle chemical, because that's where all the shit comes from, right? Because that's where a lot of plants grow. They'll take a chemical, or lizard spit, right? That's actually the GLP-1s. Whatever. I don't know. Was it a jungle lizard spit? I don't know. But seriously, who in the world? No, it's desert, by the way. But who in the world said, "Let's check this lizard spit and see what happens"? I don't know. I'm kind of impressed. Like, I don't have that kind of scientific mind at all. But anyway, so we purify chemicals, we make it reproducible, we make it scalable, and next thing you know, you got big pharma. Because sitting there grinding up onion leaves, doing that every day, no one's going to do it. You grab a pen, you jab it in once a week, people are going to do it. And it works way better. Speaking of which, I had an advertisement, Neil, the other day on Facebook about that popped up about these GLP-1 probiotics that a mutual acquaintance liked. And they do the same as GLP-1s. No, they don't. And I actually asked, hey, this is a social media rabbit hole. I actually asked in the post, so considering the fact that GLP-1 half-life that's endogenous is seconds, how many times a day do you have to take this pill? I didn't get an answer.
I bet not.
Nope. Science, man. Now, the bodybuilder that I absolutely trust. That's where I got stuck in this rabbit hole in the comments under his post because he was upset, rightly so, that Oprah pretty much said calories in, calories out isn't a thing. Well, then people ran with it, and and then I can't read social media stuff. And we talked about that earlier, that it's always calories in, calories out. Like, well, what if you're hypothyroid? That means your calories out sucks. If you eat less than you burn, you're going to lose fat. Like, well, what about losing muscle? Okay. You can try to mitigate that as much as possible by hydration, strength training, and protein. Like, if you lose any weight, like, I mean, you're 100 pounds overweight. What do you think is worse? Losing some muscle mass or getting rid of the extra 75 pounds of fat you got on your body? Like, your heart's pissed. Your joints are pissed. Your brain is pissed. Your genes are real pissed. Not the GENES, you know? My doctor told me the papaya leaves will work, but she can't tell me to take it. Yeah, because there's no studies and it doesn't work. No, I don't know. Whatever is in papain. Is it? I don't know. Papain is in pineapples. Is it in papaya leaves too? I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not looking it up either. It worked.
It's one of those ones. If it works, Big Pharma would have already figured it out and made it a prescription medication and made it so that supplement companies couldn't sell it. Like they tried to do with fish oil when they were doing the whole fish oil studies. They were trying to get fish oil off the market with their super fish oil pill.
Yeah, or snake venom. Quality calories and good food too. That's a hell of a point. Don't you love it when your patients tell you that they want this drug they saw on TV? So I told the story last week when we were in Colorado. We were watching TV, cable TV, and there were a lot of like antibody chronic disease meds, and one of the side effects was death. And my 10-year-old was like, "Mom, did it just say death as a side effect?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Why would somebody take that medicine?" And it was just, I was like, "Well, it's a risk benefit thing." He's like, "But death is bad." I'm like, "Yes, it is." But being paralyzed from MS is possibly worse. So anyway, but yes, no, the quality calories is a huge deal, right? But it's still calories in, calories out. But if your calories comes with micronutrients and fiber, like an apple versus Cadbury mini eggs, one of those is not going to negate the fact in my brain. It's not going to flip that switch in my brain. And it's going to actually enhance my body's ability to heal and grow and maybe grow some hair, which would be nice. Neil, eat some apples. Just kidding. But yeah, no, and quality calories, and we will never tell you that quality calories is a bad idea. It's just overcoming the barriers to making it happen, really, which is key. The general, nothing they did help, so I asked my mom to get me something natural. Well, nothing that you did helped because it wasn't the right stuff. And helped what, right? But anyhow, a platelets problem after drinking papaya leaves had helped me. Yeah, I don't know what's in papaya leaves. And it depends why your platelets were. Yeah, I'm not a hematologist, so it's kind of in that microbiology realm that I asked somebody else about who knows more than I do. For sure. Snake venom. Yeah, I'm telling you, lizard spit. It's where it's at.
Well, just think about this. Who thought licking the back of a toad would be cool?
Right. Trying a little rat poison as blood thinner. Hey, they bled to death out of their orifices. Maybe we can use this in a pill. It's like, I mean, it's a crazy. It's, and I get it. I mean, it is big pharma, and you combine that with the legal system and having to approve everything up the yin yang. It's gonna, our drugs are never gonna go down in price. Ever. Ever. I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that. Okay, so hold on. This was user 3999. Is it one of our users that we see all the time, or is that anyone? I don't know, but if you're here, hey, how's it going? Yeah, so it kind of brings me back to that. Nancy's comment brings us back to that question: is should you eat a certain kind of food or on the meds? And I mean, the answer is you should eat for health, right? That's a loaded statement right there. You know,
I mean, overall, it's better to eat whole foods as opposed to processed foods. I mean, processed foods have been shown to kind of mess with your gut biome. Um, the new thing is ivermectin for everything. Oh my goodness.
I know. I know. Hop on Push Health Open Practice. It's like everyone's like, I want ivermectin for everything. I'm like, do you have worms? Because if not, you're not getting ivermectin.
I haven't seen an ivermectin overdose for a while though.
Thank God. Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
it smells good. The apple flavored one smells really good.
Ew.
Yeah, after the last overdose, they brought it in, and me and Dante were messing with it. They were a 750-pound horse, is what they dosed themselves as.
Oh, I'm guessing they weren't that big.
They were not a 750-pound person or horse.
Yeah, processed foods got us overweight. Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And I talk about this a lot that once your brain wiring is messy from chemicals, you can't unwire it. Now you can divert the circuits sometimes, but that pothole is always going to be there for me to fall into if I choose. And I have to do things long before I reach that pothole to not fall in it. And I've been fairly unsuccessful at that for the past few months. But the good news is being on a GLP-1 allows me the metabolic leeway that I don't gain a shit ton of weight. It's nice, and it's a very good. It's actually helping me learn to forgive myself because my body forgives myself as well. It's like, hey, listen, so you screwed up. It's fine. Well, meal helps too. Just start at the next meal, grab your protein shake. You got this. There's there's not a whole lot of shame. There's frustration because my God, could I stop falling in the effing pothole, please? But I do because my brain circuits are fried. So like, I got to find a different light switch. I gotta do things differently, and I'm working on it. It's not effortless. As Michael Neal says, it takes effort to become effortless at anything. And I'm not there yet. It's frustrating. But it's also the real world. I live life in the real world where Cadbury mini eggs have calories and they're not real eggs.
They have no protein in them.
Nothing. Even if you eat the whole bag, it's like 1 gram. They're the whole bag, the Costco size. No, I have not bought the Costco size yet, but ooh, sounds good, doesn't it? But no, I have not bought the Costco size yet. And I took 7.5 today, so I'll be fine. So why don't I take 7.5 all the time for a little while because I have a race coming up. But after the race, honestly, I might do 7.5 for a few weeks to just, oh my God, just stop.
Well, that's
like I just
nice
need
about
to
content.
get. Yeah, you can take,
Up and down.
and you can respond to what you need. It's not like, oh, 5 is my dose. Well, 5 is my usual, less obsession for mother. Thank God, right? Because my brain is like, you get. So I have Easter candy that I don't even like because I bought it because I don't like it. I'm like, maybe we could just eat those. I don't even like them, but my brain's like, yeah, but you don't have anything else. So eat some yogurt or something or nothing or drink. I don't know, but again, it's the mental obsession. I read this recently and no fiber. Yeah, there's nothing. Talk about empty friggin' calories and amazingness and taste. That would be Cadbury mini eggs. But I heard this statement the other day. I think I might have said this, Neil. I don't remember. If I did, whatever. Someone here needs to hear it. That the curse of the addict is you can't start once you stop, and you can't stop from starting. And that's how I know I'm a food addict, really a volume addict. And the only way I can overeat is if I have sugar, because that's the way to negate the drug for me. So that's the only way I can binge is if I use sugar as a drug to overeat the drug that I pay $1 million frickin' dollars for. And that pisses me off even more because I'm like, what are you're just wasting this money. But
Maybe you
again,
won't,
that's the front.
maybe
Go
you won't
ahead.
be able to with the 3 receptor when it comes out, the retatrutide.
I'm wondering, like, if they're like, if it just shuts it down. That sucks,
Yep.
Nancy.
Yeah.
That
Nancy's only
sucks.
is on 12 and a half and can only get 5 because of shortages. That's really terrible because my understanding is it's 10 and above that you can't get. My mother-in-law had to go to drop to 7.5. But five's, it's better than nothing. So you have a little bit of control and you don't have to ramp all the way back up.
Yeah, maybe add some metformin in. I don't know. Like, so
Yeah.
even when I went down to 2.5, or I tried to extend it, either way, it was kind of a mess. I would have to go if you're comfortable, right? We don't force anybody to do anything. We don't force
Yeah.
anybody to take these meds. We're just here to help. But literally, I would have to consider compounded at that point. You know what's really funny? I just thought of people are complaining that it's the vanity people, it's the vanity patients. Yeah, we hugs Nancy. We get it. Sucks. It's the vanity people that are making the shortages, creating the shortages. Most of us are uncompounded, so it's kind of unrelated. Like now that I just had this thought, I'm like, wait a second. Most of us are taking compounded. I can't. Like, I'm not paying $550 for Zepbound every month. Not now that I can pay $440 or $350. You know, I mean, it's $200, and I'm comfortable with it, right? I'm comfortable, except for the thing today it burned like hell, but I'm still holding a grudge. Still holding a grudge. I don't know. I still do want to do the Zepbound though. Just I just don't
I
want
want
to
you
pay
to
for that.
try that link next week again and see if it burns again.
I don't want to. I'm not going to next week because I'm only taking 5, but I'll try it the week after. I'm like, ugh, no, it really burned. I mean, like, seriously, I'm like looking for the bruise.
Ooh,
It doesn't hurt anymore.
good.
But it was like burny, like, and I know it was in the fat. Oh no, yeah, I might have bruised something. I might have hit something. I only pay 76 for Manjaro. Oh, I know, right? If it's covered by your insurance, it's like liquid gold. I
That's one of
know.
those ones if you can get it early because you can refill I think every 23 days with it.
Mm-hmm.
If you can
Fortnite
get it,
lunchbox.
if it was me, I would try to get an early fill and I would take the 5 like a day early or so.
Mhm. Yeah, like
You know,
every
take it every
5 or
6
6
days
days.
and try to get the next
Mhm.
one a little early and just go right back to it. My understanding is
Fort
I've seen early April when they are supposed to come back and like be
Yeah.
shortage over. I've also seen end of April. So
Oh, yeah,
you're looking it up.
I am.
It's the flavor of the day.
Supply.lily.com. Select your medicine. I so hate the thyroid thing on the bottom that you can't minimize. Um, I get it. If you have multiple endocrine neoplasia, but nobody talks about. Um, Limited availability for 10, 12 and a half, and 15 through the end of March. And then 2.5, 5, and 7.5 are listed as available on the FDA shortage webpage. So even so here's the thought. I mean, even if you could get 7.5, even like from like Lilly Direct or mail order or something, and supplement with like 2.5 from compounded, it would be reasonably priced, and it would get you to 10, which might be doable, especially if you maybe add a metformin, make sure you get your protein in, do the things. I don't know. That's what we do. We find solutions. At Lilly, we want everyone with type 2 diabetes to receive the treatment that they need. So can I prescribe Zepbound off brand for type 2 diabetes? The answer is yes. We have no problem doing that. Should new patients start on Manjaro if there's limited availability? I love this. I love this. I absolutely love this. That Lily says this. I know, I hate, whatever. At Lilly, we want everyone with type 2 diabetes to receive the treatment they need. Physicians and patients should continue considering Mounjaro as an option even when periods of limited availability occur, which I agree. Don't tell people don't start your patients on a life-saving medication. Find a solution. Like if you can't get something from Novo Nordisk, go to Eli Lilly. Like, I don't know. Find a solution. Your patients are sick. Help them. I was very good at not getting in a soapbox today. There's my soapbox. I'm just looking at the thyroid cancer thing because now that thing pops up and it freaks me out, which I know exactly what it says. What is Lilly doing to ensure they will be able to meet continued demand? Making lots of shit. I paraphrased.
That huge facility up north.
Used to get 90 days, but now since the shortage, no. Yeah, I wonder. I really wish. I want more patients to try Lilly Direct to see if it works.
I have not sent a 90-day to them, so I don't know if they will fill a 90-day.
Mm-hmm. Vicky on TikTok, Mounjaro has taken my A1C from 7.5 to 5.9. Currently having a hard time finding 7.5. That sucks.
That really sucks.
Yeah,
which means it's 7.5 and above.
You know what? The 7.5 is that weird dose though that some suppliers don't get. Like whoever, like the McKesson, whatever supplies CVS, because there are different like inline suppliers that some can't get it. Like Walgreens gets it, but CVS can't. 7.5 is always that bizarro dose that some locations can get a crap ton. So maybe a mail order pharmacy, I would try that. Honeybee Health can't ship refrigerated, so that won't work. But Lilly Direct, Amazon's going to get in the game, please, because they can actually deliver shit on time. So, I'm like, why can't they just use AWS to ship from these pharmacies? Because FedEx and UPS make things sit on their trucks for the weekend. Where Amazon will come to my house on a Sunday.
They'll deliver overnight at between 4 and 8 in the morning sometimes.
You need your collagen for the morning? That sounds like a good plan. I'm like, thanks. Like my husband's out of his protein bars that he eats like 2 a day. And because he eats a shit ton of protein. Like, you could begrudge my husband for a lot of things, but he eats a crap ton of protein and works out a shit ton. No wonder he looks like he does. Speaking of which, I found a picture last night that was before he did all those things. I sent it to him. It earned me a wow. Kind of like, can you destroy that for me, please? Just don't ever. Yeah. It was rough at the end of med school. Very stressful. Make the Mounjaro meds in vials. The pen manufacturing is too complicated. The tough part, the vials are complicated and people overdose because they don't, even today. So here's an example. Okay. I got new pharmacy. I can't find the concentration on it. I'm looking for 7.5 and I like to confirm, like, this is the dosage per, like, I want to confirm the pharmacy's math to make sure that the math is mathing because I don't want to overdose myself. And I text Neil like, oh my God, can you read this label? Because I can't read the label and I don't know. It says 38 units, but I don't blindly trust anyone. I do. I trust everybody. And then I get, whatever.
No worries. I checked those numbers on that graph.
But I know, right? So I'm like, but then it was like 20 mgs per half ml. I'm like, guys. So I'm like, okay, if it's 20 mgs, so this is 1.6 and it's 1.6 of, see, now I'm thinking my math might be wrong. Because if it's 1.6 milliliters at 20 milligrams per half ml, did I overdose myself?
You have to send me that picture because what the information I had when we calculated them out, because I checked them all, they were correct. Let me see.
Because it's 4 doses. So if it's 1.6 milliliters at 40 milligrams per ml, that's like 40, it's like 50 something divided by, no, because that's too high. See, now I'm bothered. Okay, so this is why we can't. This is why we can't have nice things, Nancy.
Yeah.
This is why the grab and stab pen, when it says 7.5 on the pen and I inject it, we're done. There's none of this. Because now I'm freaked out that I overdosed myself.
Send me a picture of a bottle.
I will. I did. I did exactly what was sent to me on the label, but I always check it with the concentration.
20
Is that the
milligrams
right?
and a half. There it is. I see the picture.
Okay. Because now I'm freaked out. Like, but this is why, like in Europe, they can do the vials.
In Australia, I believe.
But think about this. I mean, literally, this has taken me 2 hours to figure this out, and all of a sudden, I'm like, shoot, I think I'm wrong. But I hope they're not wrong, because that's a hell of a dose, and I'm not going to eat for a week. It doesn't make any sense. It's too many weird numbers. I wish these pharmacies would use easy numbers and not do 20 milligrams per half ml. Like it's not how you measure things. It's just not.
20 milligrams and half ml.
Hold on. I'm actually looking at our compound spreadsheet.
Yeah, and it's supposed to come in 20 milligrams and 1 ml.
And I think that's what it might be, but then it's labeled incorrectly.
We'll find out in about a day and a half.
Oh, fuck me. Yeah, we need to know, because now it's supposed to be, I'm looking. So 7.5 is, okay, so tirzepatide 7.5 per 0.38 mLs, which is what I injected. You get 1.6 mLs, which is what I got. So I think that 20 milligrams per half ml could be wrong, because it doesn't math right.
Unless that's 20 milligrams / 0.5 like the milligrams of the L-carnitine in it.
Yeah, because it's not printed correctly if it is.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, the dose was correct. We need to email them and tell them that that's not correct. Okay. But this is why we can't do vials. I know. The pen manufacturer.
My guess is it's easier to charge people more for like their dose, because then you can't just get a 60 milligram vial and then dose it out how you want. Like you order the 60 and dose it out at 2.5, then you're not buying it every month.
Brianna said, looks like you shouldn't be in the compound business. Good thing, because I'm not. If I was in the compound business, I would not do it that way, but I'm not. So I would do it in a way that's easy for patients and providers to understand, so people don't freaking overdose. But,
Oh, she's talking about them being in this, but yeah, they all do something weird, and all labels are weird. The way they list, sometimes they'll list like tirzepatide and then put like 5 milligrams, then / like 5 milligrams of
like the B12 or whatever.
Like B12. Sometimes they'll do like tirzepatide, cyanocobalamin, and then the numbers. They all do it a little bit different.
Yeah, thank God, Brianna. I'm not good enough with math. I would do it by tens, right? It would be like a 10 or a 20. Period. End of story. Even like 15, because 15 works with the 15 milligrams or whatever. And I hate to say it, but ACA did a great job with it. It's because they made it just like the pens. However,
at least some are learning. Like Axtel went to only one concentration of each of the medications. They used to have 2. So then it's like,
how did I become a doc? Seriously? If you had seen these labels, and the labels don't actually match, so that's a problem. Not knowing math. Okay, that's a different. If you have to do drug math, I know how to do math. Just ask my 10-year-old. But when it's these labels those labels don't match and they don't make any sense. They're actually, one of them is incorrect. So we did enough math to figure out that we need to tell this pharmacy that they need to fix that label because it's not 20 milligrams per half. It's 20 milligrams per mil. So if that, because 1.6 would be 4 times 7.5, technically 4.8, but, or 0.8.
Yeah, does it give you the total volume in that vial? I just see the
1.6.
front of the label.
Yeah, it's 1.6 mLs. 1.6.
Okay. Then their math on the label doesn't make sense.
Yep. The math does not, because there's a prescription label and a label on the vial.
Yeah.
So the vial says 20/0.5, which is 20 per, right? But then it says 1.6. That does not at all compute. That's why I was afraid, holy shit, did I overdose myself? But then when I looked at our spreadsheet, no, that label is just wrong, which is really freaking bad. So, yeah, the problem is I do know math, and that's not a good thing. That's why it didn't make sense. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm like, Neil, this does not make any sense. Because it doesn't. How did I be a doctor? Do you have any idea what it takes to be a doctor? Any clue? Any fucking clue? Probably shouldn't say that. Bad for any patient that is. I know, right? Like if you're looking at that, no wonder patients text us, and thank God they can text us, right? Because if you're in our practice, you can text and ask questions. I literally took pictures of label, syringe, because I was going to send them to Neil and be like, am I doing the right thing? And I know how to do the math. I know how to figure this stuff out. It just didn't make any sense because it's wrong. But a lot of patients overdose for that reason. That's why people overdose, even on Ozempic pens with the clicks. People don't do it right. That's why we have to protect ourselves from ourselves. Yeah, I mean seriously, I was getting the hotline to Neil going, all right, am I doing the right thing? Because I'm about to inject this, and so according to them, it's the right thing, but they need to change that. Yeah, I mean the total. I don't, because the total milligrams is 30. So how could that be 1.6 if it's 20 mgs per half ml? It's not. It's not to mention that's 32, but thank you for overfilling a little bit so nobody gets shorted units. I appreciate that. Yeah. Oh my God. I'll tell Queenie to email them and send a picture of my dose and say, hey guys, this doesn't really work. Thank you. I appreciate it. Got stuck on a FedEx truck and these numbers aren't right. So, all right. After hanging out for a million hours, this was long. We didn't have a lot of questions today, but we could talk forever. So that's good. If you're our patient, got to give it to my pharmacy. They're always on point with dosage. That's fantastic. This is a new one, and they're fine. I mean, and it's very clear on how many units you should take. I just don't trust people, so I needed to math it out, which means now it's all messed up in my head. But if you're our patient, we'll see you on Wednesday at 7 p.m. If you're just hanging out, we'll see you next Monday at 1. It's where to find the lunch hour. We should call it liquid lunch. Sorry, that's really inappropriate, but funny. So I am going to end the broadcast on YouTube.